do subscribe. Ciao e benvenuto al nostro spettacolo.
How long have you been practicing that?
I looked it up in the car when I parked up.
What Italians think about that sentence?
Yeah, maybe I need to do that while I do it.
Yeah.
Ciao e benvenuto al nostro spettacolo.
Are you casting a spell?
Welcome back to our show, to our usual 30 subscribers, some of whom even watch the videos.
Helpful.
What have you been up to over the past week?
Studying.
Boring.
That's really fun, isn't it? Eating out. Watching my mum fall over in Manchester yesterday, that was fun.
Shout out to Janice, our main fan.
Yeah. In terms of music, I've just been re-listening to that Demi Lovato album.
Really?
Which means it's got true staying power.
I guess so, yeah. I've not gone back to it at all.
Yeah. How about you?
Main highlights, so I've got a highlight and a low light, which might be a controversial low light. So, a couple of highlights over the past week have been I've had another Miles Davis album, and also one that I really didn't want to like because I hate the guy, a Morrissey album that was really good. And I didn't want it to be, but it was. Can't remember what it's called now. It's the one with "We hate it when our friends become successful." That was a really good album, and like I say, I didn't want it to be. And the controversial take from this week, yesterday I had Harvest by Neil Young.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was boring as hell. Didn't like it at all. Put my review up on Instagram and everyone was like, "Are you actually stupid?"
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a really good album.
Seemingly so. Like everyone that's seen my Instagram, which I'll link here, has said the same. Coming back to this week's album, which is Måneskin. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. It's
Måneskin.
It's not Måneskin, it's Måneskin. You should know, I think it's a Danish name. Even though they're Italian, it's a Danish
Believe
word.
it or not, that hasn't come up.
Is it not?
No. And if you have that accent above the A, it's usually an O.
So Måneskin.
Måneskin.
Måneskin. Okay.
Main skin.
It's definitely not Måneskin.
That's my main skin, yo.
Alright, that's gone in the shot.
Yeah.
So preconceptions of Måneskin. I'm going to call them Måneskin throughout because that's what they're called. So
Yeah, I didn't have any. I just thought Eurovision trash that would probably disappear and I'd never hear from them again like Lordy.
yeah. Yeah.
I know you'd shown me one video last week of a song that was on this album, Supermodel.
Yeah, Supermodel.
And I did actually really like that. But I think that's the first I'd heard of them, unless you've shown me them before and it's just gone out of my ear.
I probably did show you when they won the song Zitti Boni, but that was a couple of years ago that they won now, so I don't blame you if you're not really remembering it.
Yeah, they got actually big in this country from a cover of Four Seasons.
Begging?
Begging, yeah.
Yeah. The song Begging, I remember after Eurovision, like only a couple of months after, I was walking around Asda and Begging by Måneskin was on. And I was like, it's not very often that you hear Eurovision songs just out in the public, especially if it's not a UK one as well.
Yeah.
Especially as well, not even the one that won the Eurovision. So it's like, okay, these are pretty like successful then it seems.
What were your preconceptions?
Well, I really like them because I watched Eurovision. I've been watching Eurovision year after year for a few years. I saw them when they won. I thought they were really good when they won. And then was interested to hear more. So I listened to the album that came out before this, which was also really good. So when you said last week, because this was your idea to do this review, if you remember.
No.
Well, it was. Last week you said Måneskin's got a new album. Do you want to do that?
I doubt I said that.
You wouldn't have said Måneskin. You'd said Måneskin. Yeah. But yeah, this was your idea to do this one, but I would have considered myself a fan of them anyway, so my preconceptions were yay.
So what was the previous album like? Does it bear any resemblance to this?
Very similar, yeah. It was mostly Italian, I think. Teatro d'Ira, I think the album was called. Theatre of something, I'm guessing. Yeah, I think it was mostly Italian music. There were a few English songs on there, whereas I might even be wrong with that. Maybe it was 50-50. But with this one, it's a lot more English songs, isn't it, with a few 100%. Italian. Sound-wise, it's the same. They've not gone in any wild direction since the last one.
Yeah. What did you make of the album cover? That famous thing that we never seem to remember a review.
It's them jumping over the four of them, lay on the floor, isn't it? It's a weird one.
How many people are in the band?
4. It's them 4 on the floor.
And who's that?
Don't know, to someone that they got for the album cover.
Oh. I was going to say it looks like the legs have shrunk, but maybe not.
I think that's perspective. Do you know, like if something's further away, it looks smaller.
No, I don't mind like smaller. I mean like they've shriveled. They've got shriveled legs.
Yeah, I don't see that, but it'll be on the screen for you to make your own judgment call on that. I guess it's just making it look perverted, isn't it? And sleazy and...
Looking up the skirt of a little kid.
Yeah. So,
maybe, you know, because it's glam, they've gone for the Gary Glitter route.
moving on.
You can't sue me because I don't have anything.
I've got nothing to give. Ha! Anyway, speculation.
Yeah.
What did you think of the album then?
It was too long, again.
It was about just over an hour, wasn't it? Like an hour, 4 minutes?
Just under an hour, yeah. But some of the tracks I really like, but then some of the tracks, there's one on there that I really hate, and then some of the tracks are just like, meh, it could have done. I guess that's the thing with a lot of albums, like there is a lot of filler, because I don't know if they have to meet a certain length of album for the record. But
yeah. Can I guess which one you really didn't like? Because there was one that I really didn't like at first, and then I listened to it a few more times, and it's actually the one that stuck in my head the most.
Go on.
Blah, blah, blah.
No. A few weeks ago we were reviewing a song, an album, and that had a title, Blah, Blah, Blah.
Yeah, but I don't mean because of the title, I mean because of the song.
Oh, right, no.
Blah, 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 blah.
No, I didn't mind that, because it's like punky. I've heard loads of people do that.
Yeah, fair enough. In that case, I don't know.
Cool Kids.
Oh, yeah, I should have probably guessed that one.
That's really bad.
I didn't mind it, but it was one of the lowlights of the album, I think.
Yeah. It seemed like a completely different band. Like the
It seemed like a different singer,
changed,
didn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's going more for that old school punk sort of singing, isn't it?
The singing, not singing.
Yeah, they're just, oh, yeah, get it right.
Yeah. I tried listening to it again this morning just to make sure I wasn't being too harsh, but no, it's crap.
I don't mind it, but compared to the other songs, it wasn't as good, definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think there's just like a dip in the middle of the album in terms of quality. The first 5 or 6 songs are really good, and then like the last 3 maybe.
You stopped liking it when they started singing Italian?
No.
Then once they started getting English again, you were like, yeah, this is right.
Yeah.
After the first album that I heard, I thought the singer, I like his voice. The bassist, it's pretty simple bass, but she plays it well. The drummer's really good. I always thought for the first album, the guitarist is not really as good as the rest. Like, he's not played any blazing solos or anything. But in this album, I think he's probably quite understated in how good he is, in that he's only tending to play rhythm, but he plays the rhythm really well. And it's not just, in a lot of punk music, it's just power chords. It's just not very inventive, not very hard. A lot of people could probably pick up a guitar for the very first time and 6 months later be able to play all of American Idiot, the album. Whereas with this, it's complex without sounding complex sometimes. And yeah, I just realised that the guitarist is a lot better than maybe I gave him credit for after the first one.
Well, that's what they always say about Malcolm Young out of AC/DC. Like, it's Angus Young who gets the plaudits because of his solos and stuff, but he's the one who actually makes up the riffs and
hold it all together a lot of the time between the rhythm and the bass.
Yeah.
If either of them went out of time, then everything's going to sound rubbish no matter how well you play.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I've ever listened to Italian metal. Well, Italian music.
Rock. Yeah.
Apart from Lacuna Coil, but from my experience, they don't sing in Italian.
No.
Judah, there's like a glam rock band called Judah. They are from Italy and they just sing English.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do because it's the more bankable language to sell, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I do like when they sing in Italian. I think I tend to like a lot of non-English music because I don't know what they're singing about.
Hipster.
Yeah. like
I mean, that would just make me wary. Like, what am I actually listening to?
Yeah. Well, it just means that I don't overthink anything, or I don't get distracted by, like, the things that they're trying to say and stuff. I can just listen to entirely how it sounds rather than getting caught up in the message. I quite like that.
Yeah, I did find those songs quite forgettable. Like, they were interesting at first just because I couldn't understand what they were saying, but then I was like, well, I like listening to lyrics and being able to like, this is a good sing-along song, but no, can't sing along to that because I couldn't pronounce what they were saying or know what they were saying, so I want to repeat it.
Yeah. I think for me, usually, as I acknowledge this is quite a strange thing, but lyrics are usually the last things that I really notice in music. But maybe that's because I've spent a lot of my youth playing instruments and stuff, and so when I listen to a song, I'm thinking, what's the guitar doing, what's the bass doing, what's the drums doing, and it's like way later that I actually realise what they're saying.
Yeah.
So.
I usually like mishear lyrics, I've noticed. Not to the extent of that Ken Lee thing. Do you remember that?
Ken Lee. To live would it would out to.
What were your favourite songs on the album?
I was thinking this on the drive here. I think this is difficult to hone it down to 3 because I liked a lot of them. I really liked, I've already forgot the name of it, the one with...
loved it.
Yeah. So I know the songs, I don't know the titles. Gossip, the one with Tom Morello. I really like that song. But
did you find... What was his point of him
that was
being
what I was
there?
about to say. Yeah. Like, it would have been just as good without him there.
Yeah.
The only bit that he kind of contributed, as far as I can tell at least, is every now and then it went...
Anyone could have done that.
Yeah, so... I guess it's... Well, they got him in the music video for it, and it's going to bring in people that don't necessarily know them. So I can get why they did it, but from the song's point of view, it would have been just fine without.
Yeah.
I really liked Blah Blah Blah. It ended up being one of my favourites, even though I hated it at first. Supermodel, I really like.
Yeah.
There was another one near the beginning, Baby Said, I really liked, and Don't Want to Sleep. I know I've said 5 there, but...
Yeah. Wonder if she likes it.
Yeah.
I think my favourites are Supermodel.
Yeah.
On My Mind, like that's been in my head. Like, it's got a proper earworm. And then Don't Want to Sleep. But I also like The Loneliest, which is the last track, as one of the slower ones.
Yeah. Did you like... There was another slower one on it, like, what was it called?
Time Zone.
No, that was a slow one, but more rocky. It was If Not For You.
Yeah, I didn't mind it, but it's one of those songs that fell in towards the middle of the album.
Right.
I don't even remember what LA Fine is. Or La Fine.
La Fine. It's one of the
Fine.
Italian ones.
No, right.
Yeah.
LA Fine.
LA Fine. My thoughts on this album was Don't Like LA Fine by Måneskin.
I think LA Fine's my hip hop name.
Is it LA Fine?
To be fair, as one of the middle tracks, Mark Chapman was good.
That was one of the Italian ones, wasn't it? Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. There's Mark Chapman and I was going to say LA Fine then. La Fine and the
Fine.
one after it
That's
were
what
the
it is.
Italian ones.
Damn,
So-
she LA Fine.
So, putting a number on it.
7.
Okay.
Yeah, because some of the... I think if it was shorter, it'd be a lot higher. Like, they cut the middle of the album out.
If they got rid of those Italian tracks.
Yeah. If it was like 9 songs long instead of 17 songs long.
Is that how long it was?
Yeah.
Didn't even realise that. Are they quite short songs then?
Some are, yeah. Some are like 2 minutes, which is
Right.
punky.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I'd probably put an 8 on it for me. I really liked it, and I've been going back
expecting
to
it to be a lot higher.
Yeah, I was between 8 and 9, so I was teetering on an 8.5. You know what? I'm feeling generous. 8.5.
Not like you.
You said 7, I said 8.5, which takes us to 7...
15 and a half. 7 and a 7.5.
7 and a 7.5, yeah. Today's a 7 and a 7... 7 and a 7.5 out of 10, which makes us decide that music, is it good though?
No, it's LA Fine.
Have you been holding that in?
I was waiting for you to say it.
Next week, we'll be reviewing whatever album I put between my fingers here because we've not decided.
Again.
Thanks for tuning in. Please do subscribe if you like what you see. And if you don't like what you see, don't unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Stay there as like an idle one because I like watching the numbers go up.
Even introduce some of your friends to us, so we get above 30.
Yeah. Like, if you want to be on the show, we're not going to fly you out if you're like... But if you get here yourself, we'll let you in his flat. Bye then.
Bye.